Would you want a Devin Haney Teofimo Lopez fight?
Well, I don't know. You know, again, Haney seems like he's a good fighter, but again, how much money is he going to want, and who's going to pay for it?
Sure.
You understand?
Yes.
I understand. I am not, until this pandemic is over, even going to think about doing pay-per-view. Right now, I just want to do fights without charging the people who are suffering. I mean, I know so many people who have to go to the food bank to get their food and so forth. So where do I come to try to charge them to watch a prize fight? And first of all, they're not going to have the money to pay. You got to buy your prescriptions. You got to buy your food before you think about buying a fight. And then we have to review the entire pay-per-view landscape. What I'm saying is, even when the pandemic is over and you're back to doing pay-per-view, you can't charge $70 or $80. I mean, in the UK, pay-per-view is a lot more robust than it is in the United States. Why? Because a big fight on pay-per-view costs £20. I mean, that's a little over $20.
Sure.
And so people, I mean, that's not bad. I was talking to some people about pay-per-view and the prices that are charged. Like when Disney came out with that Mulan movie.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they didn't charge $60, $80. They charged, I think, $30. So if you have a family and you would have, in the ordinary times, taken them to a movie theater, you would have spent at least that.
Sure.
So people can understand that. So what I am going to be advocating before I'm going to jump into pay-per-view is charge $30 for a fight and have the cable systems and the satellite providers not cut us 50%, but charge maybe 15%.
Gotcha.
Like they do in England.
Makes sense. Where's the money source coming from during COVID? Like for Top Rank, where does it come from? ESPN? Does it come out of your pockets? Does it come from promotional companies?
First of all, there's no gate. There's no real revenue streams because there are no gates. So our revenue stream comes solely and completely from ESPN, and sometimes we have to go into our pocket because the revenue from ESPN is not enough, because it's all you have to understand the bubble that we created. We do all these fights with testing and everything in a bubble. It cost us $400,000 each fight because we put the people up where the MGM gave us a whole floor in the hotel where we put all the fighters and their seconds and so forth. We have a full dining room because they're in the bubble. They can't go out, where we feed them breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's very expensive, and plus the testing. Each event that we do costs us about $30,000 for testing alone.
Damn.
We have like a medical office before you go in the bubble. You go in, you check in, you go into a room, they put something down your throat, they give you a tag, and then you go to your room, and if you're positive, they come get you, and they put you in quarantine out of the bubble. And it's realistic. Not only are some fighters tested positive, fewer and fewer, I must say, but an employee of mine,
wow,
who a former and this is a good thing I ought to talk about.
Yes,
not even going to mention his name. He's a former fighter. He fought at the top level against a guy like Roy Jones. He's about 50 years old, and he was tested in the bubble positive.
Wow.
And he went home because he had no symptoms. 3 days later, he collapsed.
Wow.
And luckily, he had a phone with him. Called 911. They took him to the hospital, and he was in the hospital for 5 days and was having trouble breathing. So, and he was in great shape. Is in great shape. And so everybody out there thinks that, hey, we can catch COVID because we're young. Nothing's going to happen. They're full of beans. The chances are, I mean, less likely than for older people, but still a good chance that they're going to get sick. And once they get sick from this COVID, even when they recover, who knows the lasting effects. A lot of their lungs are scarred and all of that